Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Bocce Boys podcast. We have a packed show for you. We have a lot to get to. We're finally going to cover in depth the AFC. We're going to get some NFL news as well as getting into some college football. Finally, we get the Big Ten Conference and a new segment. Please be sure to follow through the whole show. It starts right now. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Bocce Boys podcast. Davis and I are back with a banger show for you guys. Davis, how are we feeling?
Oh, pretty good, man. Just another Thursday evening, Friday morning.
Oh, yeah.
You're listening
Friday
to this
morning.
Friday morning.
Yes, and right now the Eagles preseason game is happening. We're not going to cover most of it because it shouldn't be a lot to get to, but football is around the corner. And with that, let's get to some around the league news that is more important than these preseason games. Davis, there's a lot to get to. I think let's start in the bottom left-hand corner. Rookie quarterback J.J. McCarthy from the University of Michigan goes down after a very good preseason week one performance, actually, and tore his meniscus and will miss the entire season. That is very unfortunate. They've had a really tough offseason. They already lost a rookie draft pick who unfortunately passed away. It's been a tough offseason for the Vikings. And then on top of that, Jordan Addison went down the same day or the day after. If you've seen the bottom right-hand corner, Kevin O'Connell said that he won't miss any extended time. So some good news there for the Vikings, but damn, bro, what a start to their season.
What a disaster Minnesota sports are at this point. I mean, if you look back, I mean, look, the Twins haven't done much. The Timberwolves have never made it to an NBA Finals. Now we're talking about the Vikings. I mean, it's a shame. And a good stat for you. J.J. McCarthy is now the first quarterback ever drafted in the first round to have a season-ending injury before the season starts.
That's kind of surprising.
Must make sense. It really does. J.J. McCarthy's first drive as a Minnesota Viking last week ended in an interception, and then he came back out and actually played pretty well. So it's just a shame. But Sam Darnold, we went through the quarterbacks last week. Sam Darnold's out there seeing ghosts still.
Did you see that pick six?
Yeah.
That was bad. He
never forget
practice and immediately put his hands on his knees in one of the most depressing visuals you'll see.
Never forget last year when Sam Darnold literally said he was seeing ghosts on the field. That's how
I forgot about that.
He was playing. So a little worried for this Minnesota Vikings team. But
if there's ever a year for Sam Darnold to get together with this pass catching group, a very good offensive line, the Vikings are pretty talented this year.
Yeah, they can be. I mean, the defense definitely got bolstered up a little bit too, drafting Dallas Turner in the first round. But I think I don't really see too much of a future this year for the Vikings. I'm going to put them at the bottom of the barrel of the division, which still could be 6 wins. I'm not saying they're going to go crazy and only win 2-3 games, New England Patriots. But I think this Minnesota team is definitely in crumbles right now.
100%. That division will be tough as it is with Chicago, Detroit, and Green Bay in there. So, I mean, J.J. McCarthy was not their week one starter, or at least he wasn't planned to be their week one starter. So it's not a total season killer, but I'm sure, it's not great. So let's move on to the next piece of news. The Falcons were busy these last 2 days, Davis. They traded for Matthew Judon, the edge rusher from the Patriots, who had a contract dispute. And then they signed probably the best free agent available, safety Justin Simmons, who I really, really liked. I wanted the Eagles to get him months ago when we were in the heat of free agency. So, I mean, it's great pickups for the Falcons. Their defense gets better. Anything change for you?
No, Falcons move to the odds-on favorite of the division now, moving to about -130 to win it. We did our division preview last week or a week and a half ago. I know you picked the Buccaneers. There's always time to change, but I think the Atlanta Falcons, I still need to see it to believe it out of Kirk Cousins. But
yeah,
It's hard to say after that.
Look at this guy behind him. That's pretty good. Just
I was just going to say, it's pretty hard to say after what he did to Penn State in 2020 week 1. But Michael Penix Jr. is going to possibly turn some heads if Kirk doesn't make it through the whole year.
I agree, because these rookie quarterbacks are coming in more pro-ready than ever. And Penix looked fairly good in his week 1 preseason game against the Dolphins, I believe. So shout out to him. And then Davis, this is something we should have covered last week. This Cowboys situation with CeeDee Lamb. This tweet's from last week. I think a lot of people saw it, but Cowboys owner Jerry Jones on contract talks with CeeDee Lamb. He said, and I quote, "I don't have any urgency to get it done." So CeeDee Lamb quote tweeted that and said, and I quote, "LOL." So not great there in Dallas. I mean, I don't love CeeDee Lamb. I love watching him play, but he might be one of the best receivers in the league right now, and they're refusing to pay him. And then also, Davis, little dispute they're going with their starting quarterback, Dak Prescott. Trouble in Dallas? What's going on?
Yeah, Jerry's world is in shambles right now. It's honestly, even taking our Eagles fandom out of it, it's kind of a shame. I mean, the Dallas Cowboys are known for. I think so. I mean, you're technically America's team. I don't consider you that, but you're technically America's team, and you're not shelving away money to some of your best players. I'm not saying Dak is a top 5 quarterback in the entire league, but I will say CeeDee Lamb is probably a top 5 wide receiver.
For sure.
Every other wide receiver has gotten paid. Thank God to Howie Roseman.
Every other, besides Jamar Chase, right?
Thank God to Howie Roseman that he knew it was coming, so he signed the wide receivers early. But I mean, I don't know what Dallas is doing. Again, taking the Eagles fandom out of it, I think they're going to have a struggle year this year. Their offensive line is horrendous. Their defense didn't get any better, and they actually have a pretty tough schedule this year compared to last year. So I hope the off the field stuff works well for them, I guess, as an Eagles fan. I don't know, but I think on the field it's just going to be, it's just going to be the same, rinse and repeat, basically. Disappointing year. Yeah.
Speaking of a disappointing year, before we get more on track with football, let's take a detour to the season of the Philadelphia Phillies, Davis, because if you want to talk about disappointing seasons, this has been one of them. I'm seeing some comparisons online comparing this team to last year's Eagles team. Not liking those comparisons. Although I can't ignore the vibes are similar, right?
They definitely are. It's such a different sport. I mean, obviously, I know everyone agrees with that, but yeah, man, it's been disappointing. At the moment, I believe they're up 8-0 right now on the Nationals, which is nice. But it has been a struggle bus, and I was thinking about this. I was talking about it with my dad, and he was like, "Well, what's going on?" He knows I'm very much day to day dialed in with the Phillies. He's more week to week. I told him, I don't know, man. They're scoring more runs than us. That's really what it is. Our bullpen's been kind of horrendous. We've given up a lot of runs and we can't score. So I'm hoping that this 2-game winning streak, if we win tonight, we're up 8-0. If we win tonight, this 2-game winning streak puts us right back in the mix. But there are some hot teams right now in the MLB, and a lot of the teams at the top are actually crumbling a little bit. You're seeing the Los Angeles Dodgers lose some games. You're seeing some of the AL East teams like the Yankees definitely start to fall apart a little bit. I don't know. I think everyone's getting cold a little bit, but if you look at the top 2 teams here in the NL wild card in the top left of the screen, I mean, the Diamondbacks and the Padres may be the two
best teams since All-Star?
Yes, in baseball, correct. The Diamondbacks have been unbelievable.
Yeah, and the Padres right up there behind them.
Correct. So we'll see what happens, but I mean, it's still a long season. Ethan, 162 games. Yeah. One of our coworkers, I don't know if you were in the office, one of our coworkers made a good point. I think it was yesterday morning, saying the Phillies at this pace need to go 500 the rest of the year to win 90 games, which was very interesting when I heard that. But no one's on pace to win 100 games this year for the first time in a decade, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, that's great. But the thing that sucks is that just a couple of weeks ago, they were on pace for franchise record in wins and a couple other stats. And, a lot of things can happen in a couple of weeks in any MLB team season. So, not a huge thing to happen to the Phillies, but they were red freaking hot. It didn't feel like anybody was going to catch them in the division, let alone the terrible Braves who can't seem to even stay healthy right now. They're playing, back and forth with the second place Mets or third place Mets now. So it's just a weird position to be in because, like you said, those teams that were below us have caught up to us and more. We are no longer the best team in baseball. You said that the Dodgers are getting worse, but they're also getting healthier. They're only going to get better. I saw they got Walker Buehler back. They got Mookie Betts back. I think Yoshinatu, or what did I say his name? I'm sorry.
I don't know. Jack Flaherty too. He got traded.
Sure. I'm talking about
Yamamoto.
Yeah, Yamamoto. He's coming back from injury soon too, so the Dodgers will be better. But the thing is, it is past the trade deadline. We don't really have a lot of major injuries. So what do? I don't know. You just play better?
It's very. I think some of these guys need a break.
They arrested Trey Turner last night.
I was talking about this. I'll leave him anonymous, but I was talking about this with one of our few viewers who stays for the whole videos this morning. And
SV.
I was saying, with these guys need a break. We benched Turner the other night. I mean, some of these guys need a break. Harper needs a day off at some point. He's coming out of his slump, but I mean, he was on a 3-week slump where he was terrible. So I think, at some point we kind of have to get healthy and get our minds right really for October, because everyone knows that's the end goal. And I mean, this is the October team the last 2 years, basically. So, that's end goal. It doesn't matter if we end the season with the number 1 seed or the number 7 seed, everyone's got a shot.
Yeah, I agree. And this is the time to get the BS losses out of the way, to get the mistakes out of the way, because you never want your team to be red hot going into the postseason anyway. But, hitting the brakes this hard was not what anybody expected. So they need to get this car back on the road and get it going 100 miles an hour again, because we were feeling really good for a while. Any closing thoughts on the Phillies before we move on back to football?
Score more runs than your opponents.
Let's get some hits. How about that?
Let's get some hits.
Yeah, seriously. All right, let's move on to the AFC of the NFL, Davis, because we haven't gotten to this conference yet. There's been an episode in between. We need to let this breathe a little bit. It's hard to really even talk about the AFC without talking about the dynasty of the AFC the last 6 years since, Tom Brady left New England, and that is the Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes. It will take a lot to dethrone them in the AFC this year, but who do you think it could be, and what will it take?
Yeah, funny enough, I have here obviously the AFC East, because I think that's going to be a great talking point between the two of us, because there are 3 teams here that could definitely win this division. Yeah. But in my opinion, you might say 4. I think there are 3 teams that can win the NFC North, and I would pick one of them to be the
AFC North.
AFC North, the Cincinnati Bengals are the team that they're healthy this year.
Yeah,
Burrow's back. Jamar needs to get paid, but I think they're the team that has the highest opportunity to battle it out with the Chiefs this time come January. But there's a lot of teams up here. I mean, out of the top 6, that were top 6 or 7 or so, because I really think there are 7 teams that actually can come out of this.
The top 7, is it?
Which is a lot.
Chiefs, Ravens, Bengals, Bills, Jets, Texans, and Dolphins.
It is correct. So I'd be a little worried about the Bengals, but if you wanted me to go a little dark horsey here, I'd go with the New York Jets, and that can lead us right into our AFC East conversation. The New York Jets, their defense this year might rival the '85 Bears. It is actually crazy how good their defense is now, and this is with Hassan Reddick. Not because this is big news too. We should have talked about
that's true. Earlier. You're right.
Hassan Reddick, he opted for a trade, and 2 former Eagles here. Hassan Reddick opted for a trade, and then 30 minutes later, Joe Douglas came out and said, "We are not trading him." Very interesting scenario.
By the way, Hassan Reddick is looking for the annual average of about $25 million a year. It's a lot of money to be asking for as possibly past your prime pass rusher.
Yep.
But Hassan Reddick has been very, 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 very efficient the last 2 years. Yep. Is he a game changer for the Jets that you really think he could be that good?
I don't think it's game changer.
Or good for that defense.
I don't think it's game changer in the way that if he opts out and doesn't play, I think the defense will still be on paper and on the field probably the best defense in the league. I just think they get even scarier with him on the edge.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that Jets team, they're going to be good this year. They're going to be good this year. I think it's really a matter of how good they're going to be this year. I saw a lot of Jets players complaining about Madden ratings in a TikTok video today, and they all seemed extremely surprised that Aaron Rodgers was an 83 overall Madden. And I kind of am too. I know he had a bad year last year, and by bad, I mean he got hurt and didn't play the whole time. So I don't think that his skills will really go down that much. But hey, if you want to disrespect a man like that, be my guest. I don't think that Aaron Rodgers is an 83 overall player in real life. So I don't know, man. This is a tough one. This is really a tough one because that offensive line did get better, but it was really, really, really bad last year. Yeah. So that's the only thing.
Now, my problem is, too, I think the guy who had the football behind the offensive line wasn't very good either. Or
for sure.
The many guys that are taking
I was going to say, which one? Yeah.
So I do think, and I'm going to solidify it here for all listeners and yourself, that I have the New York Jets winning the AFC East. I do think they can make some noise.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's really up to me between the Jets and the Dolphins.
Because I agree. The Bills are going to have a down year, I think.
I feel so bad counting out the Bills. I do.
Their defense just doesn't look the same.
I know. And Matt Milano just tore his biceps again today. That's a tough SOB as a linebacker for the Bills. He's really, really good, but he cannot stay healthy. No. He has been incredibly injured the last 2 years. Yes. So, I mean, keeping other guys healthy on that team, let alone losing Stephon Diggs. I think they lost a couple pieces of the offensive line. You know, I know they got Keon Coleman, the rookie from Florida State, who, you know, might be really good. Who knows? But it's just something about it. And they were a field goal shy of, you know, the Chiefs getting past them last year. And I just don't think they made the necessary upgrades to get past them.
Yep.
Did the Dolphins? I don't know. Because it really comes down to the Dolphins. Can they play in cold weather? And can they play in January?
It's a very strange thing. I agree.
It does. But they have the talent to win this division, I think. So I'm going to stick with the Dolphins because that's what I picked in my division prediction video. And honestly, I think that getting them at plus 200 right now is as good as it's going to get. I think the Jets are going to Jets, and you might get them at a decent rating at some point. But I don't know. I think that the Dolphins, there's something about it. I don't know. I feel like Tyreek Hill is ready to explode. And even if he doesn't, they have Jalen Waddle. I know OBJ is certainly past his prime, but they can make a run. I don't know. Tua is such a
for sure. He's a
mediocre quarterback. Yeah.
I don't know. Actually, I think he can definitely put up some numbers staying healthy. I mean, we've seen what this team can do, especially against bad teams. They beat up on a lot of bad teams last year, real good. But it's just when you're playing against the Chiefs and the Bills and the Jets, and it's going to be a tough division. But I don't know, man. I think if I were to look right now to take one of these bets, I would personally take the New York Jets at 11-1. They start the year off at San Francisco on Monday night. But after that, you're getting bottom feeder teams here. You're getting the Titans, the Patriots, the Broncos, and now the hurt Vikings. So, I mean, I don't know. I think value-wise, I think the Jets look pretty solid going towards the middle of the year. But if the Jets, it happens. You know what I mean? Like, it's not the end of the world. And, you know, the Chiefs are always there, too, for the taking if you're looking for some possible free money.
Possible, because, you know, they have to win that conference. And like we said, it's going to be a tough task because if they get past the Chiefs somehow, they might be looking down the barrel of a Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, CJ Stroud, and either one of those challengers would not be good.
Agreed.
So, Davis, before we move on, though, let's debut a new segment. So, not really a new segment. This is advice from our friend and Bocce Boys correspondent, Amir Zisling / co-founder, or whatever you want to call it. You guys know who Amir is. He gave us a great idea. If we can't settle a debate, let's just call somebody and get him in. So we decided we're going to call a Bocce Boys viewer who I know is listening right now, and that's Ryan Brake. I have him on speaker right now. We'll see what happens, but Ryan's going to help us decide this. Ryan Brake, you were live on the Bocce Boys podcast. You're live to tape. I need you to be aware of that, all right?
Oh, God.
All right, so Davis and I need you to settle a take. Friend of the year segment. We need you to settle a take. Who is going to win the AFC East? Is it the Jets, the Bills, or the Dolphins, or the Patriots? I guess.
That's a good take. I need this for my AFC division parlay, but Ethan, I'm going with the Jets, bro.
Ooh, you and Davis riding together on this one. Why the
Let's
Jets?
go, Ryan.
Davis said, "Let's go."
Last year, it was such a disaster, and I've been reading horror stories of being a Jets fan all these years. But this year's going to be different for them with Rodgers. Dude, Hall, he's probably one of my favorite. I had him on my fantasy team last year.
Yeah, shout out Brees Hall.
Brees Hall. Their defense this year, they're going to go far.
Okay. Now, would you take the Jets to win the AFC 11-1?
I like the odds of that.
Oh, you and Davis might be the biggest Jets fans in the country.
The Dolphins are not going to do anything. The sad boy Bills are just depressing. And
what about the Patriots?
And the Patriots are the Patriots.
Whoa. Better watch it there.
I like it.
I don't know if you're watching the game live right now, but
I actually do have it on. The Drake May did score a touchdown. I saw that. Not great.
Oh, really?
Yeah. All right, Ryan. Well, we appreciate your input on this.
That's a bonus point, Ryan. Friend of the year.
You're definitely getting a bonus point for that one. So be sure to tune into the Botch Boys show tomorrow. You can catch it on YouTube in case you don't know. So we appreciate your help with this, and thank you for supporting.
You're welcome, Ethan. I appreciate it.
All right, see you, Ryan.
All right.
So you won this one.
First friend of the year. We'll give him. I think he deserves 2 points there. He picked up and he gave good analysis.
Yes, he did. Ryan, shout out you. Shout out the Jets. So I mean, I'm gonna relent this one. It looks like the Jets are the favorites heading in. You heard it here first. All right. So be sure to pick up our phone calls if we call you at late night because you might be on this show. Who knows?
Maybe we'll do a morning podcast one of these mornings, huh?
Nah, no one's sick. No one's answering.
No.
No one's answering. All right, Davis, let's move on to college football. We have not talked much college football beyond, I think, a couple things here and there, our overall excitement for the video game, which we'll get to soon. But, Davis, let's get to possibly the best conference in college football.
Whoa. All right. I wouldn't go that far just yet.
Why? Why not?
Because we have stupid Michigan in here. They're bringing us down.
Whoa. The defending national champion, Michigan Wolverines?
Yes.
Wow.
I'll explain it. I will explain.
That only strengthens my argument that they're the best conference in college football. Ohio State, Oregon, Penn State. Come on. USC in there too. Washington definitely losing Michael Penix, but they'll still be good. Nebraska, who knows? So, Davis, let's go down the list. Ohio State is obviously the favorite. Oregon, close second. I think Ohio State and Oregon play each other within the first 4 months. I think it's on October 12th.
October 12th. Big day.
It's going to be definitely a big day, but that might be the game of the year. So watch out for that.
It also is the week of the year. There's a ton of fantastic games on that day.
I believe Texas and Oklahoma. Yeah. That stars. That was so weird. Did anybody else hear that?
I don't know what you're talking about.
That was so weird. Yeah. So what do you think about the favorites, the Buckeyes and the Ducks?
Yeah, I keep going back and forth on this. I went through a mini analysis on this on our kind of mini college football preview 2 episodes ago, I believe.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, we were just going through conference winners. And I picked Oregon. But
you did, that's right.
I'm telling you right now, I think these odds are pretty solid. I do believe Ohio State has the better chance to win the conference over Oregon. I just really like that on that day, October 12th, game of the year, it's going to be in Oregon. It's not going to be in the shoe.
Okay.
So I like that aspect of looking at making the conference championship. Ohio State, they officially, I don't know why it took them so long, named Will Howard, former Kansas State quarterback.
That took way too long.
Starter this year.
And then also, by the way, the Big Ten has no more divisions, so the top 2 teams will play each other in the championship game.
Correct. This Ohio State team here, They're really good. They brought back a lot of juniors that could have gone to the
NFL
NFL
got
draft.
some really good transfers.
Yes.
Quinshawn Jenkins, the running back from Ole Miss.
Yes.
I mean, in the college football game, that spin move is ridiculous.
Thank God they patched that.
But, and then also Caleb Downs, the safety / linebacker from the Crimson Tide, might be the best defensive player in the nation.
Very possible.
And the reigning SEC freshman of the year played his ass off last year for Alabama, and now he's at Ohio State. So
this Ohio State team is here for vengeance, and there's only one reason why, Ethan.
Michigan.
Because they've lost to Michigan the last 2 years. That doesn't happen very often.
Doesn't matter if they beat Michigan this year, though. Does it carry weight?
Yes, it carries weight.
I mean, obviously, but like, is this their get back? Is there a way for them to get back?
It's their, I mean, obviously their get back.
I feel like they've been humiliated beyond like repair.
It's go to the national championship. But I mean, it's such, with that being, you know, the game of the year, basically, that's what it's like trademarked to be. Ohio State, Michigan. It's going to be at Ohio State this year, I believe. This just is more fuel to the fire for Ohio State to make a huge run, and we'll see. I think they definitely can. But if you're going over to my Oregon Ducks that I picked as our conference winner, they brought in Dylan Gabriel, quarterback from Oklahoma. This Oregon team is also looking very scary. This team is very good. They actually play a pretty not too hard schedule, with Ohio State probably being just the hardest team on the schedule. And I think this Oregon team, especially against home against Ohio State, October 12th, I just think 2-1 going into a possible rematch in the conference championship against Ohio State, which might not happen, but I think it's very solid odds. And I think the odds for Oregon only go up from here.
Yeah. So let me ask you about these other 3 newcomer teams: USC, UCLA, and Washington. Who will do better?
USC. Washington lost a ton of starters. They lost their coach. They've lost coordinators. They've lost everybody. This Washington team, I think they're actually going to scrap and fight for a bowl game this year.
I agree.
I really do. I think
defensive coordinator is
who?
Steve Belichick.
Really?
Yes, and Bill Belichick has been helping out at Washington practices. Just saying.
Interesting. This team's win over under this year is going to be 6.5. So that 6 number gets you a bowl game. This team's definitely going to scrap for 6 wins. But UCLA, terrible media day for new coach over there.
Lincoln Riley.
Lincoln Riley? No, I'm sorry. UCLA. His media day where he was like, yeah, we're if you don't know us, we're from Los Angeles. And then he just sat there. He was in shock, basically. Very strange. They're going to have a tough year. But USC, I believe their win total is going to be at 7.5 this year. Ethan, this might be the first year in decades, honestly, that USC is coming into the season with little to no expectations. And I actually kind of like that for them. I think coming into the season with little expectations as a team that's known recently to disappoint, I think this team can definitely get 8 wins this year. And I'm not saying fight for the conference championship, but if you're looking at the list down here below, I think they can definitely beat teams like Nebraska, Wisconsin, Washington. I don't know who they play exactly off the top of my head, but I think this team can definitely jump up to being the 4th or the 4th best team in this conference.
That would be very interesting. And it's just going to be nice to see some of these new matchups with USC facing off against Nebraska, USC versus, I don't know if this really is going to happen, but a Maryland, a Michigan, just these different colors. It's going to be fun college football season.
Yeah.
But I think you're right. I think the more things change, the more things stay the same. And I think that the Big Ten winner this year will either be Ohio State or Michigan.
Agreed.
Which leaves one team that we haven't talked about yet.
The Penn State
Nittany Lions. Yes, Davis. I don't want to get too ahead of myself. I've loved Drew Aller, whatever the fuck his name is, since I first laid eyes on him. And he's a watch list on everything. He's a Manning Award watch list. He's the Jim Thorpe, whatever the Johnny Unitas, whatever it is. Can he live up to this hype? Can he do it? Can he take this team to a conference championship game?
I absolutely think so.
Wow. You see the schedule on the right-hand side of the screen if you're watching on YouTube? Please look at that. Davis, what do you think of the schedule?
I think obviously I'm gonna tell you that Ohio State's the biggest game on our schedule. I say it every single year. Obviously, you've said it every year.
Yep.
I truly believe if you take that game outside of this, the biggest game on the schedule will be played in August at West Virginia. I think that this is going to be a huge, huge game.
You think West Virginia?
100%.
Are they good? I thought they were terrible last year.
They're solid. They were supposed to be terrible. And then we beat them in week 1, and then they ended up winning, I believe, 9 games. Oh. So they exceeded expectations tremendously last year.
Oh, okay.
If you look at our conference schedule, Ethan, we have a very, very nice conference schedule here. We play Illinois, we play UCLA, both at home, and then we go to USC. Probably and statistically our second hardest game on the schedule.
I mean, those 4 games in a row are pretty tough. I know that we have a bye week between Wisconsin and Southern California, sorry. But Wisconsin, Ohio State, Wisconsin.
Washington.
Washington.
Wisconsin will not be the Wisconsin teams we've seen in the past.
No.
This team is not very good this year. They're having very bad quarterback issues, and their defense is not going to live up to what we.
Did they get Tyler Van Dyke from Miami?
They did. Ethan, I'm worried about him. I don't think he's going to fit in the air raid offense with the Wisconsin Badgers. I think we play Illinois and UCLA, both at home. Both 2 teams that I don't think they're probably going to finish middle of the pack, if not bottom of the pack in the Big Ten. At USC, this game should be about a pick 'em. You never know what can happen. Again, I've already told you this USC team is coming into this year with no expectations, but I do think this is a very winnable game. At Wisconsin, I'll go through them later with a future pick of the day. But they have a tough schedule, and we're just sandwiched right in the middle of some of their biggest games. Home against Ohio State, massive that we get them at home this year.
Haven't beat them since 2015,
16, but good try.
I was there. Are you sure,
Ethan?
You sure about that?
I think we've done this before. You really want to argue with me on it?
I think we've done this before.
Yes, and I was right. You want to bet lunch on it?
No,
exactly.
Absolutely not.
2016. Washington at home the next week. Washington's going to be a bad team. Purdue, Minnesota, and Maryland. Ethan, this team smells like they can go 11-1 possibly. I have 10-2. And it was in 2016. I told you. I know you just looked it up. This team can go 10-2 and make. You're such a. This team can go 10-2 and make the playoff. Maybe 11-1. I really do. The defense is so good.
That is a fact. That is the only reason I think we can get there. It's just that I think that we are right on pace with a team like Ole Miss. And the reason I pick Ole Miss out of nowhere is because we lost to Ole Miss in the bowl game last year.
Correct.
And I know that was in the last year, but it's just that's usually a measuring stick you use going into the next year.
Which is a terrible measuring stick. Agreed.
100%.
It can be. But because people sit those games. I mean,
I just think that the spot Penn State might belong to Ole Miss. Like that's the thing we're thinking.
I think they both get in. I think if Penn State goes 10-2, they will make the college football playoff.
Really? You think so?
Yes, they will.
How many Big Ten teams are making the college football playoff?
So the line
under 3.5.
That is exactly what the line is. Like legitimately, books have it set at 3.5.
Okay.
I will take the under, and I haven't touched on this team yet, but I think Michigan's going to have a very disappointing year.
Yeah, go off
this year. They lost their coach. They lost their quarterback. They're another one of these teams, just like Washington. They've lost almost everybody, but they have a tough schedule, especially out of conference. They play Texas this year. Let's not forget that. I think they could get whooped. I think there's a chance they get whooped by Texas. I think that they are going to be a team that struggles to get to 8 wins this year. The teams that down lower, I think that will actually finish above Michigan. I will take Iowa. I will take Nebraska, and I will take the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. I think all
the
three
Rutgers thing is too far. I'm sorry. That's
absolutely not. Absolutely not.
I love the Shiano man as much as the next guy, but
schedule?
come on.
You want to hear their schedule?
Sure.
Home against Howard, home against Akron, at Virginia Tech, loss. So let's go 2-1. Home against Washington. I don't like Washington. I'll take Rutgers. 3-1. At Nebraska, loss. Okay, 3-2.
Possibly, yeah.
Then listen to this. Home against Wisconsin. I have it as a win. Home against UCLA. I have it as a win. At USC, sure, we can give them a loss. What was that? 3?
2, 3.
Not 3. And then home against Minnesota, win. At Maryland. Maryland stinks. Win. Home against Illinois, win. At Michigan State, might be one of the worst Power 5 teams of the year. Win.
We're talking about Rutgers, though. They're not.
They can go 9-3.
They're not going to exceed expectations in the first year of the Super Big Ten.
They have the easiest the easiest schedule out of all of this realignment. And
we'll do a lunch bet right now. Rutgers is going to finish above Michigan.
If you give me Rutgers,
I'll give you a game.
You want a game?
I'll give you a game.
One game is a split. Nothing.
Yes. Yep.
Let's do it. Shake on it.
Deal. There you have it, folks.
Right.
The first lunch bet of the football season is Rutgers versus Michigan because, wow, I don't know. It's not a scorching hot take. It is hot. It's bubbling. Yeah, it's definitely bubbling.
On the brink of boiling.
Exactly. So I don't hate it, but this is the kind of show that we use these takes, and we'll watch this take blossom and possibly die quickly.
We'll see. We'll have to clip. Yeah. We'll clip it. We'll play it back.
Yeah, somebody clip it, chat. All right. On to the next slide. Sticking with the college football thing. College football 25 by EA Sports. We're talking about the video game. It's in the game. Who is the best team to start a dynasty with? Me and you have been arguing about this forever. I'm going to be honest. You asked me yesterday what's been going on with my college football experience. I won a national championship with West Virginia, not to flex. But since then, I just haven't been able to find a team. Like, I've switched around from a couple teams. I think the one that was stuck on last was SMU, but it's between them, SMU, Virginia Tech, and Florida. Just a team that I thought would be fun to bring them back to glory. But there's so many pathways that you can do this. You were telling me to pick like a 2-star or 3-star program that would be more fun to watch win a national championship. And like, I don't know, watching like Charlotte win a national championship does not sound good to me. So
yeah, I'm the opposite. I stick with the 1 stars. I go East Carolina. I go Charlotte. I go Old Dominion, UMass, UConn. But we want to hear your take too. The few people that have stuck this long at 38 minutes and 9 seconds. Who do you want us to play as? I mean,
yes,
we probably won't talk about it too much on the podcast, but like maybe I think that could be a fun segment. Where are we at on Dynasty?
I would love somebody to give me a really good recommendation because I love playing the game. The game is so much fun. I just need a reason to play it. That's all.
Agreed. I would like.
Honestly, I'm looking at one team right now. What about the Kansas Jayhawks? What do you think about them?
They're pretty good. Not gonna lie to you, actually. They're pretty good.
But
that's gonna be our comment of the day. Is pick a team for Ethan and I to play with. It can be different teams. It can be the same teams. I don't care.
Even if I never update you on this again, I need help. Somebody please comment something below.
Make it somewhat difficult.
It can't be Colorado. If it's Colorado, you're banned from the comment section.
Don't pick Penn State. Don't be that guy.
I swear, if somebody picks Colorado, you're banned from the comment section. I swear to God.
All right, Ethan. We have one more slide here. I promise.
I swear, I'll ban you.
I promised you a future of the day.
Yes, you did.
This does not involve Rutgers, but it does involve the Wisconsin Badgers.
Both of these teams are stinky to me.
Ethan, both these teams are stinky. But I've said with this Wisconsin Badgers team, they have a tough schedule this year. And I didn't even talk about another team that they play.
South Dakota? Oh, that's not South Dakota State.
No. Another team in the Big Ten I didn't talk about was Iowa. They might be pretty good. Maybe we'll get to that later.
I don't know about that one.
I really do.
Kate McNamara is really bad.
They won 10 games with that offense. Can that offense be that bad again?
It is so bad.
But can that offense really be that bad again?
Yes.
You think
they play for the University of Iowa? They do this every year.
I know. But their defense is stellar again.
I know. Their defense is amazing.
Anyway, this Wisconsin team, I've told you they've had their troubles. They're out of conference. They play Alabama. That's tough. Not only that, they get a tough draw with the realignment conference games. I've been talking about a few teams that have had easy ones. This team plays Penn State, Iowa, Oregon, and Nebraska all back to back to back to back. Not only that, earlier in the year, they go Alabama bye week, USC. Purdue's not going to be very good, but I still play Rutgers. I already told you I like Rutgers.
Yeah.
This Syracuse team, though, you know who's playing quarterback for Syracuse
Kyle
this year?
McCord, yes.
Kyle McCord.
Yes,
this Syracuse team actually played pretty solid last year in the ACC, and
they were
snuck up towards the top of the conference. And look at the schedule. Another team that we haven't really gone through the ACC yet, but look at this ACC schedule. They do play Miami, but they avoid Clemson and Florida State. For sure. They also play Stanford.
Is that UNC on the 26th of September?
Yes. No, that's Holy Cross.
Oh, okay.
I believe that's Holy Cross.
I think you're right.
But they play a terrible Boston College team, a trash Cal team, a Stanford team that needs to stop studying and getting on the books and actually hit the football field.
I think Cal's better than them.
I'm taking and hammering Syracuse to have more wins than Wisconsin this year. Worst comes to worst, they both win 6-7 games.
Yeah, I like this.
But I really like Syracuse to actually win more games because I don't see a path where Wisconsin can actually win more games than Syracuse.
I think Wisconsin's going to be bad. I like where your head's at with Syracuse, but we do need to get into the ACC because there's a couple teams that I think might not be terrible. Pitt is always competitive recently. They have always been competitive.
Virginia Tech
but they are
is good.
Yeah, they sure have.
Their quarterback, I forgot what his first name is. His last name is Drones. He is really good.
And then the team that they play right before Pitt, NC State, they are always competitive as well. So
coming off some weird years.
For sure. Like, don't get me wrong, for sure. But I don't know. I like where your head's at because the ACC also went under some, rebuilding or whatever the hell you want to call it. So that will be a fun one to talk about. And that might be the one we have to do next because we can talk about the SEC and the Big 12, but the ACC is not being talked about out of these Power 4 alignment status.
Agreed.
Yeah. All right, Davis. This is a great show. I think we got a lot done. I'm watching the Eagles lose in the preseason right now. It's not great, but we have a lot more coming on the pipeline. College football is on the way. We got NFL coming down the way. Fantasy football we got to talk about still. Like, we are here to help you guys. If you have any fantasy football questions, drop them below. Would you rathers? Who should we draft? Who should we not draft? We can do a segment on rookie quarterbacks, rookies in general. Let us know. Follow us on Instagram. You'll see those things down below. Like and subscribe on YouTube. Freaking share the shorts that you see on YouTube. Share the reels you see on Instagram. Help us out. Even if you don't want to, just press that like button. It's not that hard, right, Davis?
Do it for one video.
Yeah, right now. If you're watching this right now, hit the like button. Yeah,
right now.
Yeah. If you're still watching and you didn't hit the like button.
And it's wild because we can actually see how many people are watching right at this second.
Steve Volrath. We see you, Steve.
I'm going to get to work and he's going to be hearing this. He's going to be hearing this segment in the morning. We got to go.
Don't yell at me. I got to get to work. All right. We appreciate your time. Thank you, guys. Like and subscribe. We love you. Peace.